Hi, Cindy. And I recorded a video, a spur of the moment. I've been working on a lot of everything and a little bit of nothing. And um, because I'm grieving, I've I started out looking at reading different things and then working with my therapist. We've talked about things that she said as a professional she hasn't heard anyone say about grief. And that doesn't mean that does not mean that we've exhausted all the resources, have seen everything. But I just find it interesting, people's expectations. And I know as someone who is grieving the loss of my daughter and the loss of my mom, uh, and with the upcoming Mother's Day holiday, that in my own experience, people grieving, because that's what I've done, you underestimate the impact of grief on your body, your mind, your spirit, all of it, all the way around. I know that people have an expectation that I will be who I was, I'll be the same person. Losing my daughter shifted so many things in my life, and I won't be the same. I'm not the same. I wasn't I was not the same person a day after she passed. Hours after she passed, I was different. I was a different person. I was talking differently. I was thinking differently just that quickly. And as the days went on, um, my mindset shifted about a lot of things. Um, Even in terms of boundaries and people and their expectations of me and all that kind of stuff. One of the things that I shared with my therapist is that all last week I heard about how strong I am. Oh, you're so strong, you're so strong. And I had the same discussion with my brother because my brother also lost a child. And we talked about how people say, oh, wow, you're so strong, you're so strong. But then it's like, because they think you're strong, they treat you like you're strong. And it's like, yeah, no, I'm still dealing with a loss, a significant loss. I know people like to say grief is grief. Um, but I lost my daughter, and then a year and days later, I lost my mom. It hasn't been a year since my mom passed. My mom passed in 2022. And, my brother and I, we talked about how we're really feeling the effects of just multiple losses back to back. Um, that's compounded with the loss, with losing a child. He lost my niece um, in 2016. And then we talked about how right after my daughter passed, um, one of his good friends passed. And then um, my mom passed, and then another one of his good friends passed away. So it's like all of those losses are on top um, the very significant loss of losing a child. And you don't go back to being the person that you were prior to that. And personally, as I'm, navigating this life, this life after, um, that's been a change in terms of my occupation and a change in terms of my living situation, a change in terms of my income. Every aspect of my life changed. In terms of my health, it all has changed. It's all changed. There's been so many repercussions with my health. I can't tell. I think about the number of times I've burned myself. I've poured hot water, boiling hot water, made a mistake and poured it across my hand, and it was just like, oh, I just shook it off. And I kept moving because I was in the midst of doing something. And after I sat down and I relaxed for a while, that's when I realized, oh wait, I'm looking at my hand and there's a scar there. Um, and it's red because I burned myself. And I'm walking around and it's like it's not painful. And that's happened to me several times. It just happened to me a day or two ago. Same thing, hot water, splashed. And I just was like, oh, wow. I was like, oh, rub it and shake it off. And it's like, I don't even feel pain the same way. So going into this holiday week, this Mother's Day weekend, this is the first one where I won't be buying a card for my mom. And the second one where I won't be receiving a card as a mom. And it gets rough. It gets rough. And I am not the inspirational griever at all. I don't tell people, oh, I don't wax poetic about it. I'm like, oh no, I don't do that because that's not how it feels for me. And the one thing that I learned that when my daughter passed away is that there are no rules. You look at all the grief resources out there, a lot of them don't address people who have lost children. If they address people who have lost children, they focus on infant loss. And even with that focus, the people writing these books are largely researchers who are looking at grief from the outside in. You don't have very many first person accounts. And as I've tried to record my own thoughts, I've, written things, I've journaled, I've written things down. I have several notes in my phone, recorded videos, use recording apps trying to capture my thoughts and my feelings around grief. Though the one thing that people really don't realize is that, you're dealing with a lot of fatigue, that it's not just an emotional thing, that grieving is not just emotional, that it is physical. And I've had to explain people that I wake up daily in a deficit. It's not like I'm not at 100%. I have not been since my daughter passed away. And I don't even aspire to be at 100%. I don't aspire to be quote unquote normal or back to who I am or where I am. That's not a goal of mine. My only goal was to survive. It was the only thing, and it wasn't even a goal. It was just survive. I just have to learn. I have to learn to survive. And I know people like to hear hopeful messages. They want to know, and they'll tell you, well, joy is your birthright, joy. Right now, I'm just trying to survive. I get up, I put one foot in front of the other. I get up, I gather my heart every morning, because a mother's heart always looks for her child. Even when they become grown, my daughter was 28 years old when she passed away. And she still lived with me. And we had decided that we were going to pool our resources and that that would be the way that we lived our lives. If she wanted to get married, that was fine. But, or if I decided to get married, however it worked out, we just decided that we were a team and that we were going to look out for each other. I didn't see the point of her moving out and struggling and all that kind of stuff. So we had like a different type of mindset, vibe, and everything about creating life on our own terms. And so I don't have like some romanticized story about hope and joy and all that kind of stuff. I'm just strictly in survival mode. And if I'm okay with it, I expect other people to be okay with that. I don't ask for anybody to encourage me. I don't ask for anybody to cheer me up. I haven't actually invited a lot of people in my space because people don't know what to say. They don't know how to act. And for me, that's distressing. It's stressful. It's stressful to have to guide conversations, to be receptive, to be graceful. It's taxing. And I don't want to hurt and I don't want to cause harm. So I prefer to, you know, protect my space and talk to people, share my time with people who understand. Because there's people there, for all the people that don't understand, who get things wrong. I get stuff wrong about grief and everything. I don't know what to say to comfort people, even though I've, you know, had these devastating losses. There are people who get it. They get that sometimes silence is just the best, just being present. When I say silence, I don't mean not saying anything to the person. That's not what I mean. I mean being present in that silence. You know, they're present, they're silent. They're not saying, she's always in your heart. They're not throwing cliches at you. They're not minimizing your feelings. Oh, you just have to think positive. She wouldn't want you to blah, blah, blah. They're not doing all that stuff. They're allowing me to feel what I need to feel and not judging it. If and it takes a lot. I had to learn not to judge it myself. So, kids left early from the daycare, so I figured I would record a few thoughts before I got ready for uh, grocery shopping. So these are some thoughts around grief. I'm not, I see so many lovely channels on YouTube and for a variety of topics. And when I learn to edit, I'll get better at editing so I could cut out some of the and that type of thing. But I'm not talking about something pretty and glamorous and I guess there's an aspect of grief that is beautiful, but that's not what I'm talking about. So it's real. So, I just have to be real. But I know that there might be a mother out there who, especially on Mother's Day weekend, who might be feeling like she's crazy, something's wrong with her. There might be a mother out there that needs validating. There's nothing wrong with you. I don't care how long it's been. I don't care if it's been 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 25 years, 30 years. I don't care, how long it has been. Your feelings are valid. They're valid. They're valid. One thing I figured out right off the top, when people were talking about a year and all that stuff, or when, hours after she's passed, people are saying, well, you're going to heal. What are you talking about? I have to go and plan a funeral that I never expected to plan. And you're in my face talking about healing. Get away from me. Get away from me. Because that's not about me. That's about you. Because if it was about me, you would pause and you would wait. You would give me time. You would give me time to tell you what I need. So the longer it gets, the more isolating it seems to get. And so I know it's not pretty, not glamorous, not no fancy backgrounds or anything. And this is no apology, but it's just I felt like the more moms who are experiencing what I've experienced, the more of us who speak up and let other moms know that our feelings are valid, that it's okay, that there's no time limit, and that there's no pressure, and that at this time, because of this, that there are no rules, and that however you feel is valid. However you feel is valid, and that there is a place for you. I'm going to do it. So if anyone else finds it helpful, that's great. I don't mind that. But this is for the moms who've lost kids, who have lost children. We're out here. We matter. We matter every day, not just on bereaved Mother's Day. I'm still a mother. Nobody's taking that away from me. And I might not want to hear and see all the celebrations and stuff, but I'm still a mom, still a mother. And so on Mother's Day, we matter. On bereaved Mother's Day, we matter. On any other random day, we matter. We matter. So that's what I wanted to hop on here and say today. Now I'm going to have to, upload this video. But if you're listening, thanks for listening. I appreciate it. Um, just another entry in my grief diary, an online grief diary. You can follow me on Instagram at When the Casket Closes. I have to warn you, it's just, they're my thoughts and my feelings. If I'm angry, that's what I put out there. And, but you can follow me on Instagram if you like. Have a great one.